Hey guys, my name is Aditya Kashyap, and today I come up live with a session in which I will discuss with you the ongoing dispute of Mamta Banerjee versus the Enforcement Directorate. So let's start with the issue. So guys, 2026, a major legal and political conflict erupted between West Bengal Chief Minister Mamta Banerjee and the Enforcement Directorate (ED) following a raid on the political consultancy firm IPEC. So IPEC is a firm of Pratik Jain. So the core issue and allegation. The dispute center on ED raid conducted on January 8, 2026 at Kolkata office of IPIC and the residence of its director Pratik Jain. Right? So ED charges against Mamta Banerjee. So what ED put charges against Mamta Banerjee while the ongoing raid conducted by the Enforcement Directorate on the office of the of Pratik Jain and Pratik Jain. So let's talk about the ED charges against Mamta Banerjee. ED says that Mamta Banerjee, accompanied by senior police officer, personally entered the raid site to obstruct their investigation. So this was the first obstruction. Now the theft of evidence. The agency claimed that the chief minister and her aides forcibly removed key evidence, including physical documents, laptop, and digital devices while searches were underway. Right? Intimidation. The officers were threatened with arrest by the state police if they recorded certain findings in their official report. So these are the allegations put by the ED against the Mamta Banerjee. So the first one is obstruction of justice, the second one is theft of evidence, and third one is the intimidation. Now, what Mamta Banerjee take defense and counter charges. So Mamta Banerjee said it is a political espionage. That is, Banerjee accused the ED of being a political tool for BJP, alleging the raid were intended to steal her party's internal strategy, confidential data ahead of the 2026 assembly election in West Bengal. Protection of property, the second allegation by Mamta Banerjee. She justified her presence at the site as the TMC chairperson, stating she was sensitive documents such as voter data and campaign strategies, which she claimed are unrelated to any financial crime. FIR against the ED. The state government filed FIR against ED official for alleged that theft of the document and harassment during the operation. So now let's these are the issues. One is alleged by ED from the Banerjee side. Now let's talk about the as of January 11, 2026. So the matter has escalated to both the Calcutta High Court and the Supreme Court of India. So Supreme Court, the ED has moved to the Supreme Court, that is the apex court, seeking a CBI probe into the incident, alleging that the state machinery prevented fair investigation. The West Bengal government has filed a caveat to ensure they are heard before any order are passed. Now, Calcutta High Court, what was the happened in Calcutta High Court? So hearing were deferred to January 14, 2026 because at that day the hearing was not possible due to the chaotic scenes and overcrowding in the courtroom prevented proceeding on that day in Calcutta High Court. So the next date of hearing of this issue is on 14th January 2026 by the Calcutta High Court. So the raid were part of a money laundering probe into a multi-code coal smuggling case. The ED alleges the proceeds from his scheme were routed to IPEC through Hawala channel activities. So guys, these are the issue. One is alleged by the Enforcement Directorate, and the another one is alleged by the Mamta Banerjee led side. So guys, now uh, Enforcement Directorate, right? So guys, the I think we have discussed the issue very well. Now we will discuss the Enforcement Directorate. Okay. So, the Enforcement Directorate, that is also known as ED, is a premier multidisciplinary agency mandated to investigate financial crimes and enforces economic laws, right? Operating under the Department of Revenue, Ministry of Finance. So the ED is operated under what? Department of Revenue and Ministry of Finance. And the current finance minister is Nirmala Sitharaman. So its primary role is to trace and seize proceeds of asset derived from the illegal activities to prevent money laundering, economic integrity. Now, let's talk about the primary statutory role of the Enforcement Directorate. So, the Enforcement Directorate is derived under the authority from the several key legislation. So, mainly there are four key legislation under which the Enforcement Directorate deal. So, the first one is Prevention of Money Laundering Act, which is also known as PMLA, which the act is of 2020, 2002. This, sorry, the second act is Foreign Exchange Management Act, that is FEMA 1999. And the third legislation is Fugitive Economic Offender Act, FEO 2018. And the fourth is uh, yes, uh, COF E POSHA 1974. So now let's talk about the little bit about the all four legislation. So the Prevention of Money Laundering Act PMLA 2002, it is a criminal law focusing on the investigation, attachment, and confiscation of property derived from laundering, money laundering, as well as the prosecution of offender. Okay, so this is related to the confiscation of property derived from the money laundering. So under Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Now the second legislation is Foreign Exchange Management Act FEMA 1999. So this act talk about, it is a civil law governing foreign exchange such as hawala, racketeering, and asset ownership. So this is mainly related to the hawala transaction, Foreign Exchange Management Act FEMA to 1999. Now the third one is Fugitive Economic Offender Act FEO 2018. This act mandates the attachment and confiscation of properties belonging to the economic offender who flee the country to evade arrest. For example, uh, the famous one is Vijay Mallya. These are the fugitive economic offender who is governed under the Fugitive Economic Offender Act 2018. Now the COFE Posha 1974 Act. This act as a sponsoring agency for the preventive detention of individual involved in serious foreign exchange violation. So these four are the key legislation under which the enforcement directorate deal. Now the key investigative power. Unlike typical police agency, the Enforcement Directorate possesses specialized power that are often considered more stringent. Now, search and seizure power to ED. ED officer can enter premises, break open locks, and seize records or assets without a prior court warrant if they have reason to believe proceed of crime are hidden there. Okay, so if enforcement director believe that there's evidence related to the money laundering, which was mentioned under the four legislation, so they can proceed without the warrant. Okay, uh, confiscate the property, confiscate the evidence. So now the second one is the arrest power of ED. Under Section 19 of the PMLA, high-ranking official can arrest suspect if they believe they are guilty of money laundering based on material evidence recording in writing. Third one is a statement recorded before ED officer during an investigation and admissible as evidence in court, a power not granted to the regular police. I will explain it to you. Generally, the evidence given to the police officer and the confession or given to the police officer is generally not admissible in the court. Generally, this is not admissible in the court of law. But if you give any evidence, if you give any statement, any admission to the enforcement directorate, then it is admissible in the court of law. So it will act as a better evidence. Okay, so this is a much more power to the enforcement director as comparison to the normal police officer. The third one is Attachment of the property. The agency can provisionally attach property suspected to be linked to a crime for up to 180 days to prevent their disposal during the investigation. Okay, so attachment of property, this is generally done in the fugitive economic offender like Joseph Vijay Mallya and Neerav Modi. So in this power, they confiscate the property of the offender for 180 days to prevent the disposal during the investigation, because these offender try to allegation of this type of allegation under all the four legislation. Okay, so and later the investigation process you can permanently confiscate the property to handle all the and to recover the amount. Okay, now, the reversal of burden of proof. Under PML, once a property is attached, the burden shifts to the accused to prove that the assets were acquired through legitimate source. So, the burden of proof, generally the burden of proof is on the prosecution, but in this law, under the PMLA, once the anything is alleged, then it is the duty, it is on the accused to prove that it is not an illegal act or illegal activity. The money is not uh, earned from any illegal activity. So this is basically shifting of the burden of proof. ठीक है. Now, so what is the jurisdiction and limitation of enforcement directorate? So suo motu restricts. The ED cannot generally initiate an investigation on its own. It requires a predicate offense, an FIR or charge sheet filed by another agency like the police or CBI to exist first. सो द इसी मतलब जो ईडी है वो सुओ मोटो कोई भी इन्वेस्टिगेशन नहीं कर सकता उसको उसके इन्वेस्टिगेशन के लिए for to conduct the investigation there is a prior predicate of offense, that is an FIR or charge sheet filed by the another agency like police or CBI, then only the ED can act on that. Okay, the ED can take cognizance of offense anywhere in India because it is a central agency, so it can take cognizance of offense anywhere in India without the prior consent of the state government, unlike the CBI. In case of CBI, CBI has to take the prior consent from the state government. But unlike CBI, the ED has not bound to take consent from the state government. So I hope, guys, this is all about the issue, ongoing issue, and the power of the enforcement directorate. So if you like that, do like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much for joining the session. I will come up with these type of interactive session in future also. Thank you very much.